This meeting is being recorded.
Hello and welcome to this podcast of Sam's Alternatives. Episode 1, we'll be chatting to Astina from this point forward, who I'm about to let in, and let's start this chat. Hello. Just waiting. It's, technology, but we should be fine. Hello.
Hey,
Hey,
hi.
oh, I can hear you perfectly, Astina.
Yeah, I'm using Bluetooth earphones, so there you go.
Oh, because I've had a couple of issues with my microphone of late because I can see the person's face, but then I can't hear their voice.
Oh, that's weird. Well, I'm glad you can hear me.
It's probably because Sam has only used this microphone like 4 times in the history. So,
Okay. Well,
nice to meet you, Astina. Of course, Astina
okay.
is the vocalist of This Point Forward, of course, a post hardcore band from Melbourne. How we doing today?
Good, thank you. Sorry the rest of the band isn't free to join today, but
Oh no,
yeah,
that's fine. It's yeah,
I'm
like
happy to do it.
yeah. Well, I'm happy to have you here, Astina, as well. But
Thank you.
yeah, it was sort of at last minute because I'd thought Tom had messaged Jackson and yourself to do the interview, but obviously not.
Yeah, I think I don't remember him doing so, but he may have. Like, it probably isn't his fault because we've been pretty busy. So
Oh no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, it's just because I don't remember much of it being spoken about, but it could be he may have mentioned it once and then I just forgot about it. You know what I mean? So
No, that's
yeah.
completely fine. The other thing is because when I was talking to him on the test one, he was saying that the other members might not be available to do it, and then he said if they weren't, he was happy to do it as well. But
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, I only knew about it today because I saw your post on Facebook, so I'm like, oh, I've got time, I may as well jump
yeah,
on and do
nah,
the interview. So
all good. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this point forward. I caught you at Hallo Scene
thank you.
actually 4 weeks ago to the day.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
How did you enjoy the set?
I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed the whole day. I thought the Hallo Scene was done really well by the city and Josh and Evan and the guys from the city that put it together.
Yeah, it was a really, really great show. I watched all the bands, I think.
Yeah,
I was there from the start and I watched all the bands and I think everyone was fantastic. It was
yeah,
a really, really good show.
that's right. Because it started at like 12:30 in the afternoon, I think.
Yeah. It was my first time seeing most of those bands. The only band I've ever seen before was The City.
Oh yeah,
And just being able to see all the other bands was really great. Like, um, it gave me a lot of notes that I could take to enhance my own performances. Just obviously that was our first gig, and just seeing everyone perform and all the vocalists doing their thing,
yep.
it made me think like, oh, that's something I could do for the next time. Like, they're all really good performances.
They were. That's the complete opposite of me, though, Estina, because I'd seen everyone but Silk Village and, of course, this point forward because it was your debut show.
Right.
Like I'd seen
Yeah, it was very.
yeah, I'd seen like Ultraviolet like 7 times. I'd seen Ghost Engine, lost count how many times. So yeah, but it was good to have a couple of bands that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you had a good day. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't get around to catching up with this point forward though because I'm probably like you, Estina. When I go to a gig, I always find that I get around to some people and then can't get around to everyone that you want to chat to.
Yeah, there were so many people there and so many bands. Understandable. The moment you talk to one band, like the next band's playing and you miss, the last band, it's just that's how it is.
Yeah, and Stay Gold in particular, and this isn't ratting Stay Gold out at all because I love Stay Gold as a venue. It's more that if you're on one side of the stage area or one side of the bar and you're trying to get to the other side and it's packed, you just can't get over there quickly.
That's true. Yeah, especially when the later bands came on because obviously they were slightly more well-known bands. It got full on packed in there.
Yeah.
It got really, really hard across the room, so I completely understand. Speaking of the venue, I did really like it. It was my first time playing at Stay and I thought it was one of the best venues I've ever played at.
Yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Stay Gold. It might not be the best venue in Melbourne, but it's certainly in the top 3 or 4 I've been to.
Yeah. I've never played at a venue where the sound was that good, so that's a major plus for me.
Yeah, and the staff there are always good as well. The security
Yeah.
are really good, and you just have a good vibe when you walk into Stay Gold.
Yeah, just beautiful people all around.
Yeah. And I almost stayed on for the after party after Hallo Scene. They're like, "Oh, you got to stay for the next part." I'm like, "Oh, 9 hours." I don't think so.
Yeah, I was there since 12, so for me, I went home after Tapestry played. It was a good show. I really enjoyed watching Tapestry, but I was knackered by then, so unfortunately I couldn't stay for the party either.
No, I think if I didn't have to go to work the next day, I probably would have stayed on.
Oh, yeah, always harder when it's a work day the next day.
Yeah, and in hospitality, it's not much fun because you don't get much of a rest
Yeah.
break.
No, you don't. And sometimes you have to deal with very rude customers, so
Yes.
I can understand.
Oh, I think in any job, you get the good customers and then you get the bad
And then
customers.
that's right, the not so savory people. Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm sweating. That's the only problem with
Yeah, same here.
WebEx.
Gosh, same here. It's been so hot the last 2 days. This day and yesterday, it's been unbelievably hot.
Yep. Are you a fan of the heat, Astina, or would rather the
No,
cold?
no, I prefer winter over summer. Very much prefer
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I don't like this level of humidity. Get it right, Sam.
it.
It's about to say
Yeah, no, I agree
humility.
with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm from a country that's very, very humid, so I try my best to stay away from humidity.
Yep. No, fair enough. All right, well, this is the first episode I've ever done over WebEx. I've done interviews in the past, so this is going to be a little bit different. There might be glitches on my end. Let's hope not. We might be able to somehow edit it in some way or another at the end of it. But what's going to happen, Estina, this is going to get uploaded in about 72 hours or within 72 hours of this being done. So probably Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest.
Okay, yeah, that
So
sounds good.
yeah, so it'll be up on YouTube and you can share it around and watch it. I'll watch it and look how many times I stuff up.
That's okay. I'm not very good at interviews and being put on the spot either, so I'll probably stuff up just as much as you. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
well, I don't think anyone's gonna say, "Oh, terrible interview, Sam," when it's my first interview over WebEx. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is going to be as good a interview as possible with the questions because obviously you've been put on the spot because you only knew about it like 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
But I'll see what we can do with it. So, how did this point forward form as a band?
So how it formed is I used to play in a different band. I used to play in a band called Cold Sleep. And that band sort of, we did a few things, but it never really took off the way that I would like it to take off. So I felt like all the members were heading in sort of different directions in terms of our music tastes.
Yep,
And I decided I would like to join a different project. I'd like to see what else is out there. And that's when I came across Tom's post on Facebook that he was looking for a vocalist to start a project with. And I thought to myself, all right, let's give this a go. I sent Tom a few demos that I did, and that was it. The two of us decided to start this band, and then the other members came along.
yep. So there's 3 members, 4 members in this point forward.
There's five at the moment.
Oh, there's actually 5. Okay, because
Yeah,
Spotify tells me there's 3, but
yeah. Oh no, we got the other two guitarists. So it was basically Tom Jackson and I for a very, very long time, and
yep.
then we got the other two guitarists, TJ and Daniel, quite recently.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, TJ being the newest member, which is why we don't have a photo shoot with him just yet.
Fair enough. That would explain why as well.
Yeah.
So did you know TJ, Daniel, or Jackson beforehand? I know Tom put the post up, but
No, actually, we found everyone online, and then we just became friends through the band.
oh
Didn't know
wow.
any of, yeah,
Because generally, like a lot of bands that I know and have seen, they've sort of started like a high school band, or they've been friends since primary school, or they know of a person that's a friend of a friend, or something along those
yeah,
lines.
yeah. That's not how our band is was started. Actually, it would have been nice because then we probably would have found our members a lot quicker. But
Y-
we didn't really have much luck in that department, so definitely had to source around a bit more.
Now, interesting because, like, I think it would be easier to have a band where you didn't know any of the members before than if you've known them your whole life, sort of thing, because I don't know. I think if you knew him for a long time and there was any bad breakup or any
Yeah.
issues you had, it might be a bit more difficult than if they're complete strangers that have joined the band.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
But
I just more meant the process of getting a complete lineup would have been quicker, would have
yeah,
been easier. Yeah, but
no,
definitely, when issues arise, it would have been much worse if, we were all childhood friends, for example.
yeah, no, definitely. And obviously the this point forward is an amazing band of what I've
Oh,
heard
thank
so
you.
far. The three
Thank
singles,
you.
Unstill, Famine, and of course Corrosion, that came out, what, 4 months ago? Can't be four
Yeah,
months.
that one was pretty recent. I think it probably around May or June did it come out. I don't
July
even remember.
8, I
July.
think.
Ah, July. Yeah,
I'm
it's been a while.
sort of done my research here, Astina. I
I
just
can
didn't
see
realise
that.
there were 5 members in the band of this point forward, but that's another story.
That's not your fault. That's not your fault. We don't have much information about the other members on online, so that's not your fault at all.
Now, interesting, like, because a lot of times I get asked, how do I come across a band? Because everyone's like, you can't just sit there on Spotify for 24 hours a day and just say, this band, this band, this band. This point forward, it's interesting because I checked out all the bands for Hallo Scene. Obviously, the ones I already knew, I checked out months ago, but I was like, I want to check out Silk Village and This Point Forward because I knew nothing about either band or very little. And I stumbled across Corrosion that had only just come out. I'm like, wow, this is different. Like, different to all the other bands on Hallo Scene, which I think you need that mix of genres and music.
Yeah, that's actually what our band aims to do. So we are very vastly influenced by post-hardcore, but we do like to incorporate other elements into our music too. Just kind of bring back a bit of that old school sound, the modern with a modern twist.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Nah.
that's what we attempted to do with our music.
Because you listen to the 3 songs you've released so far, and you could tell the difference in all 3 songs. Like, there's similarities, but there's a difference in the sound and also the lyrics and everything like that, which is really good.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of our songs are quite different from each other. Similar enough that you can tell it's by the same band, but we like to keep things fresh.
Yeah,
So I hope we can keep doing that.
nah, definitely. Well, what you've released so far has been amazing, so I can't wait to hear what the future holds for this point forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate you checking us out and taking the time to listen to our music.
It's not that hard. Like, everyone says, I don't have 5 minutes to listen to a song. I'm like, get nicked. How can you not have 5 minutes? Like, if you're on a train or you're working out or you're doing something like that, just put on Spotify and listen to the song. It's not that hard.
I completely agree with you. I listen to music while I'm working, so yeah, I've got no excuse basically.
I'd love to listen to music while I was working, but I don't know if the
Oh.
it's like, oh, this meal's going to table 3 and I'm just here listening to music.
Yeah, I think that your job may not be so suitable for that. Whereas my job, like I'm a laborer, so I don't have to really think about much. I don't have to talk to customers. I just put on my earphones and there I go.
Yeah. Also, I don't think my music would be very suitable for restaurants
Or
customers.
yeah, definitely not. Definitely.
I can't imagine having something like, I don't know, Parkway Drive or Amity Affliction playing in the background, or not old school Amity or Parkway.
Yeah, I find that the majority of people do lean more towards pop music, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But definitely, it takes a certain niche crowd to enjoy heavy music. So there
There,
is a time and place for it.
there is some really good, well, I wouldn't say it's pop, but there's a lot of good sort of pop punk music coming out of Australia at the moment that has sort of drawn me to pop, like Stand Atlantic and Yours Truly. It's sort of coming
Oh yeah.
back.
Yeah, they're both bands that I know. I have listened to a few of the songs, and I do like it. I listen to everything really. I don't have a defined genre that I stick to. So if I like a song, I listen to it regardless of its genre.
Yeah. No, I can listen to almost anything. Almost, I
Same.
say.
I'm a bit iffy with country.
Yeah.
My partner really enjoys country music, and it's just one of those genres I've never really been able to get into. But that being said, I never shame other people for what they listen to. So there's something for everybody, and I think that's the beauty of music.
Yeah. Opera's another one, except for like when Nightwish had the highly trained opera singer in the band.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah, opera's not really my taste. And dubstep, I used to like, and then I'm like, nah, it's sort of gone mediocre now.
Oh yeah. I feel like dubstep is something you kind of it's a phase. You grow up, and as you're growing up, you listen to it, and
Yeah.
then later on go into something else. Because that's what happened with me as well.
No. That being said, though, Muse, when they did Second Law and a couple of their later albums, that sort of dubstep, I was like, yeah, okay, I can see where they're going with this.
The dubstep I listen to that were not entirely electronic were actually the ones that were performed by Korn. Like he had a phase, they had a phase where they were incorporating dubstep into their music. I don't know if you remember that.
Was that the album they did? Or they did a couple of songs with Skrillex, I think.
That's right, yeah. There were a couple of songs that were really popular back when I was a teenager. That
Yeah.
was just Korn and dubstep. And it was sick. I loved it.
Path the Totality, was that the album? I might have to get my thinking cap on here.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I remembered what was it? Get Up and Narcissistic Cannibal. They were the two most popular dubstep corn songs.
Yeah, Get Up's the one that stands out for me. That's the one I remember pretty well.
Yeah.
But of course, me being a Corn fan, my Corn's back to like Issues, Follow the Leader, self-titled days. So
Oh yeah, so you go way back.
yeah, but that's also showing my age, Astina, I think. When I talk about Corn in the mid-90s, yeah, we won't give away Sam's age on this WebEx show.
That's okay. I won't ask. It's all good.
But the other thing I just want to quickly touch on, like we talked about pop punk, but also the female led bands here in Australia, because like for so long it was male dominated, but now you're seeing bands like The Last Martyr, Identity Era, Red Hook, Yours Truly, Future Static, all these bands that are becoming huge that have a female vocalist, which is awesome to see. And of course, this point forward are in that group as well.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. And I feel like it's honestly about time where it's about time for females who are into heavy music, to actually step up and do it.
Mm,
Because you're right, it's been so male dominated for so long, that it's great. It's so refreshing to hear all these heavy, growls and just aggressive vocals coming from a lot of female fronted bands, and I think that's amazing.
mm.
I love it. They inspire me to do the same thing, especially the last Martyr. I think Monica has amazing vocals. The
Ama-
way she can scream and sing.
And they're amazing people too. That like I've
That's right.
always got the time for the last martyr. Like I see Vin and Ben nearly at every gig I'm at. They seem to support other gigs more than they support their own gigs, which isn't a bad
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah, especially Ben. I don't really talk to the other members as much, but Ben, we talk on Facebook, on Messenger every now and then, and he's just the most lovely, most supportive individual I've come across. He's lovely. He's an amazing person.
no, they've shot up last martyr. I mean, they opened for Black Veil Brides a couple of years ago, and you think how big that is.
Oh, they've opened for a lot of bands that I like, including Dayseeker. I don't know if you know that band,
I've
Dayseeker.
heard of Dayseeker. Couldn't tell you one of their songs though, unfortunately.
Ah, yeah. They're really good. I prefer their older music, but they're still one of my top bands, and the fact that they opened for Dayseeker is amazing.
Yeah, it's good to see that too. Like that's another thing I just want to point out. A lot of these up and coming bands, not that the Last Martyr are up and coming, but sort of the lesser known Australian bands are getting big lineup bills.
Yeah. I think
Big,
that's great. I think that it's good that they're given the opportunity to show what they can do. Because so many times smaller bands are sort of sidelined
yeah.
and they're not really given a chance to show what they can do. And then you watch them and it's like, oh my God, amazing. You didn't know that they could sound so good.
Mm.
So the fact that they're given the opportunity to show that is a great thing.
Certainly is, and yeah, it's and some of these are like really good friends of mine that are getting that opportunity, which even makes it more special, because I can say, oh, they're friends of mine, and they're getting on the bill. Like example for Future Static, I mean, opening for Ginger a couple of years ago at Good Things Sideshow, that's huge.
That is sick. I love Future Static. Again, another one of those female fronted heavy bands that I listen to quite frequently.
And it was stupid me on Thursday. I had this moment, and I've had a few of these where a member of a Melbourne band has been literally standing behind me or near me, and I didn't realise it until after the show that Amaria from Future Static was standing next to me at one stage.
Oh, yeah. I probably wouldn't have missed that, but yeah.
But it's happening too often because Chris from Wind Waker, I was standing in front of at a gig earlier this year. It's like I couldn't even believe that, he messages me and goes, "Were you at this gig?" I'm like, "Yes." So, but it's sort of one of those things, and I don't think bands mind it, but it's sort of like, do you approach them? Do you not? When it's not their show?
Uh, I think that they definitely do not mind.
Nah.
Most of these people that you've spoken about, they're all lovely people. I've worked with Chris a couple of times.
Yep.
He's actually the person we got to mix and master Corrosion
Oh,
as well.
Chris. Oh,
So
wow.
from Wind Waker, yeah. So he's and he did the vocal production for a couple of our songs when I was in my other band as well.
Oh, yep.
So I can honestly say that he's a lovely, genuine person. And if you ever see him and you go up to him and talk to him, I do not think he'll have an issue with that at all.
Nah. Because I'm a massive Wind Waker fan. Like, both old school Wind Waker and new school, obviously, because they've had vocal changes, obviously.
Yeah,
But yeah, Hyperviolence. I reckon at one stage that was probably the most played album of this year. At one stage,
yeah. Pretty sure they got into the charts, the ARIA charts.
yeah, I think they was it independent albums or Australian albums. I think they got into.
Yeah, it was probably one of those. I can't remember exactly what they got into, but they were definitely on the charts, doing
No,
really well.
yeah, I don't even know what my favorite song off it is. I do love Get Out, but I'm sort of like I play it to death, and it's sort of like, all right, maybe there's one or two other songs I can go to on Hyperviolence and just listen to them instead.
Yeah, I think that probably Hyperviolence has some really out there sort of heavy music, pretty genre bending kind of stuff, and I think that it's a lot of the songs are very, very interesting. instrumentation, not
Yep.
just the song as a whole, but if you really pay attention to the instruments and the additional sounds and elements that are going on. And this is a testament to what a great producer Chris is, because he's able to make everything sound so crisp and clear.
Yep.
And every time you listen to a song by them, you will hear something that you didn't notice was there before.
No,
And then that's what I loved about listening to them.
definitely. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Wind Waker Hyperviolence, definitely go check it out after you check out this point forward.
I don't think we're quite there yet, but hopefully one day we'll be, just as successful.
I think you're in the best state for it here in Australia, but then again, I'd say you're probably in the best country to make a name for yourself because the amount of bands that are making it big here is unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually think Melbourne is one of the best places to do music. It's one of the most musical and artistic cities I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's changing. I don't know if that's changing in other parts of Australia now where they're becoming that way, but Melbourne has always been known as the arts capital of Australia.
definitely.
Definitely a great place to be, to be honest.
Ah, well, next question is, how did you come up with the band name this point forward?
Oh, so this is actually a name that I've had in my head since 2014. So since I was 19 years old, I've always wanted to have a band called This Point Forward.
Yep,
And one of my bands that I was in when I was 19, actually suggested that we use this name. And they ended up going with something else. So I'm like, damn, I've got to put this name back into my catalog and use it for something else in the future. So it's just a name that I've always loved. I think that it represents for me, just moving forward and, you know, just with your endeavors, your passion, like not giving up,
yep.
just moving forward all the time. And from this point forward, I'm gonna give it my all, and that's what it's always meant to me. So it's great that I could finally use that name for a project because it's been sitting in the back of my mind for years.
Well, yeah, I mean, 2014, well, it's nearly 10 years ago that you've had it in the back of
Yeah,
your mind, and now to be able to use it with a band,
that's right.
yes. And I actually like the sound of that story because, yeah, moving forward, this point forward, it's got a good ring to it.
Yeah, I actually think it's not to toot my own horn, but I think people have told me, a few people have told me that they really like the name as well. They think that it has a ring to
Because
it.
you hear some bands, and I won't mention them because I don't want to get into trouble for defamation or discriminating or whatever it is. But some band names you like, well, it's going to be an easy question to ask because it's the street they lived on or a couple of other
Yeah.
old ideas like it's a mix of words, whatever it may be. But I think a three-word band title 9 times out of 10 has probably got a good story to it, which obviously this point forward does.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the name isn't just a name. There's a deeper meaning to it, and that's how I want to portray the band and the name. So yeah,
Uh,
definitely means a lot.
Sounds, yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential and the sky's the limit, as they say.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to go further than the sky, but we'll see what we reach.
All right, well, we'll aim low first up and then sort of go.
100%. Yeah.
uh,
Playing music has always been a dream of mine ever since I was a toddler. So, definitely it's something that I don't think I'll ever stop doing. And I can't wait to see where this band is going to go.
yep,
And yeah, and definitely we aim low because, I feel definitely it's very important to have humility and, just be humble, especially when you're starting out. I definitely do not think that we're top shit. I definitely do not think that we're the best band in the world and that we're the greatest. But that being said, I do feel like we've got the potential to get to the point where we can be in the position that a lot of the bands that I look up to are in. So I'm just hoping for that day.
well, that's good, and that's good goals to have, Astina, because if you do aim high and then something happens, or like the band doesn't succeed as you wanted to, then it's sort of a letdown. But if you aim low and just whatever happens, happens, then, I mean, that's the way to go, I reckon.
Yeah, that's right. And this is why I thought that being able to play at Stay Gold as our first gig is an amazing opportunity because it was an amazing venue. The lineup was superb. Just being able to have that as our first gig was such a privilege. It was such an honor to even be considered for it.
Yep. And like, cause well, we just have to mention like how many bands in Melbourne that are metal or punk and that you could have chosen for 10 bands, and to have this point
That's
forward
right.
to be chosen ahead of so many big names, it's pretty
Yeah,
special.
honestly, it was very special. I'll probably never forget that gig ever. If we do end up going somewhere, I would always look back on that gig and be really, really thankful that we got that opportunity.
And what better? There's probably two or three venues to start your live show career in and stay gold, but it's certainly one of the best to have your first show at.
That's right. I was blown away. I was blown away by the venue, and that just goes to show how tiny the venues that I used to play at were. It's those. It was a bar. It was cramped. The sound is all over the place
Yeah.
because they're just space to get the sounds really going the right way, and just to be able to play it at a place where you can hear everything was amazing. I couldn't even tell you, and my mind was blown. So,
I think also like when you go to a gig or enter a venue, I think the first 5 minutes tells a story. And I think the minute I actually walked into Stay Gold at Hallo Scene, I just felt like this was going to be a good gig. And Stay Gold has an unbelievable record of never putting on a bad set that I've been to. And I think Hallo Scene just showed how much awesome talent you can have on one lineup for a day festival. Well, it wasn't a festival, but a mini festival.
a mini one, yeah, yeah.
And a good mix. Like, there was some heavy stuff, there was some pop punk stuff, there was everything in between. It was really good.
Yeah, but I do feel like one thing all the bands had in common was their professionalism. I think that everyone they put on the best show that they could put on. They were professional, they were great performers, like I said before. And whether you're playing to 10 people or playing to 100 people, to have that attitude is such an important thing. Just the professionalism of it. And I definitely saw that from all the bands that played that day.
Definitely. Professionalism is a big key to being a successful band and a successful person, because if you don't have the professionalism, if you're not taking it seriously, it does show.
Yeah. Like I remembered a few gigs I've been part of in the past where I'm not going to name the bands, obviously. I'm not here to humiliate anyone, but members would go on stage drunk and they wouldn't play their instruments properly. They'd be drinking on stage, and I'm like, I mean, if it works for them, it works for them, but that's not the kind of show that I would like to put on
No.
personally. So
No.
I also find that it dulls your performance a lot when you're drunk on stage and you're not playing your parts properly. So
Yeah. Because I've seen it as well. And again, like Astina, I'm not going to name drop because it wouldn't be fair. But I've seen it where some members of the band have literally looked like they were going to stumble up on stage or fall face first onto the ground. It's just like, why? I mean, and the other thing is, like, and I know there are reasons why it happens with some bands, but the bands that only turn up for their set and don't watch the other bands, again, I'm not naming anyone,
yeah.
but yeah, I just think that's unprofessional in my view.
Yeah, I do agree that unless you've got a great reason to have to go,
Yeah,
if you've got commitment that you have to go, I don't see why you shouldn't stay and support a band that has stayed and watched you.
yeah,
artists should definitely be returned. And you may end up finding that you really enjoy their set, and then that's another band that you get to listen to.
Mm. Yeah, you might find your new favourite band. I think we've all done that with
Exactly.
gigs.
That's right.
All right, well, what has the response been like for your latest single, Corrosion?
Very positive, overwhelmingly positive. It's funny because our video on YouTube didn't really do that well. It definitely didn't have as many views as Famine, but just the reception, like if once people have heard it, the comments and the reviews that we've gotten have all been really great.
It's good to see, and the comments and reviews, like, I mean, any feedback is good, whether it's constructive or positive, and yeah, it shows that people are listening to it if they're reviewing it and listening to it.
Yeah, it's honestly, I think, our best performing song at the moment. Not in terms of streams or in terms of views, but it's our best performing song in the sense that no one has any uh sort of criticism so far that none have told me or the band anyway. Whereas with our other two singles, there's always been yeah, this is great, but also, constructive criticism.
Yeah, when you hear the "but" at the end of the thing, it's like, it's great, but like, oh, don't say that three-letter word.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Like those were our first two singles, so I'm aware that they probably wouldn't have been the best. There probably was room for improvement. But
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that by the time our third single came about, that some of those points have been addressed, and no comments from anyone about anything to improve on. So that's very flattering. I'm very, very flattered by that.
Mm. Well, I could give you some good news too, Astina, because there's a big end of year countdown that I am doing 2 weeks today, actually. Unfortunately, it'll all be up on my news feed and not through a podcast or anything. But the best songs of 2024, and Corrosion has made it in there somewhere. I'm not saying where, because
Really?
that would be a
Oh
spoiler
wow, that's
alert.
yeah. So exciting! Oh my gosh! Yeah, that I'm truly honored. That is really, really exciting news. I can't wait to tell the rest of the band about that.
Nah, I don't even. I haven't even looked at the list. I know I've put it in there, but I've actually got no idea off the top of my head where I put it.
Oh, you probably have so many songs on there that you can't possibly remember the positions of each song. Yeah.
No, and 2024 for me has been one of the best years for new music, especially here in Australia.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the new bands that I'm currently listening to, I only discovered them this year as well. So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know why, but I'm glad I have. I'm glad. Like Tapestry, for example, never heard of them until Hallo Scene, and now they're a band that I listen to on Spotify.
I can name probably five off the top of my head, and three of them, funnily enough, are from overseas that I've only stumbled across in the last 6 months. One is Boundaries. I don't know how I didn't stumble across them earlier, but I saw them at the forum a few months ago, and I'm like, why haven't I heard of Boundaries before this?
Yeah, that's a problem because there's so many good bands, so much good music out there. You can't possibly get round to all of them. That I wish I could listen to every single band, every single song that is out there in the world, but you get to it when you get to it. It's impossible to get round to everything.
Yeah, unless you just sit there, don't sleep, don't work, and just listen to music 24/7. But even then,
Yeah, probably. Yeah, even then, I don't think you'll get through all the amazing songs that are out there in the world and all the amazing bands and stuff. So, yeah,
there is the one positive of not driving, because when I go to gigs in Melbourne, I just sit on the train, and that's where I listen to most of the music. Is that hour and a
right.
half from Warragul to Melbourne, getting to listen to sort of 18 or 19 songs.
Yeah, which is why I'm so thankful for. Thank you.
Oh.
Which is why I'm so for. Thank you, Sam. Which is why I'm so thankful for yeah, the Discover Weekly on Spotify. I don't know if you use that function, but it's recommended me so many good bands. Every time a new week comes around, the first thing I click on is Discover Weekly because I want to see what I'm being recommended this time round.
No, definitely. And I mean, I do. I used to use Discover Weekly a fair bit, actually. I don't know why I haven't used it all that often this year. I guess a lot of people probably don't know this, but because when I was doing the podcast, I got a lot of like media releases from some of the bands that were sending their music through, or their PR was sending it through. So generally, I would know about these bands' releases like on the day, or emails would come through a couple of days before. So I think before that, I wasn't getting much new music, and then you would use Discover Weekly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically for, someone who is going about their day and they want to see what new music's out there that they haven't listened to. But if you're being recommended songs from elsewhere, it makes sense why you haven't really been
Yeah,
using it.
but
Yeah, I use it when I'm working because when I'm working, I have my earphones in a lot. I just bring up Discover Weekly, and then I hear a song that I like, save straight away.
yeah.
That's how that's how I come up with most of my playlists.
I love the other thing I love about Spotify, not just the Discover Weekly, the if you like this band column. So many bands
Mm.
have come from that.
That's right. I've discovered way more new music since listening to Spotify because before I would used to discover music from YouTube and it just wasn't as effective in, finding having these recommended to me. And then the moment I started using Spotify, I think the array of bands I listen to probably, you know, is 100 times more than what it used to be.
Wow, that is, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, it does have its positives, Spotify, a lot of positives, and we've just mentioned three of them, I reckon.
Yeah. Not for the artist, but definitely for the listener.
Yeah, well, let's. I'm gonna steer clear of that because.
Yeah, a whole different conversation.
Yes. Uh, okay, well, because we're getting actually close to the end of 2024, what have been some of your favourite songs of 2024? Albums, EPs that you've been listening to?
Oh gosh, that's pretty hard. Probably one of the songs that I keep playing, having on repeat, is "The Nihilist" by The Last Master.
Oh, great
I just,
choice.
yeah, oh my gosh, it's so catchy. I think that's probably one of their best songs. Best songs. "The Nihilist." What else have I been listening to? Belhaven's new EP.
Oh, you're talking my music here, Astina, Belhaven and Last Martyr. You got me sold already.
Yeah, and there's another song. I'm not quite sure if it came out this year. I think it did. It's by Excuse for an Exit.
Leave a
It's the new
message.
one. Leave a message. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
beautiful
this
song.
year. Was that
Yeah,
May, I think? Oh, gee, I better do my research. I know it was
yeah. I
definitely
don't
this
even
year.
remember. Yeah, a lot of them were Australian bands actually. So yeah, I'm glad because I like to support local music as well, local scene. So I'm glad that a lot of my favorite songs from this year were actually from local bands.
Funny story about and I'm glad you brought that up because if you people watch YouTube, you would see a 2 second cameo from me in the leave a message for excuse for an exit video clip holding a sign.
Oh, really?
But you got to
I'm gonna
see,
have to watch it again.
and then you turn off. You're like, I don't want to watch this video again.
No, no, I wouldn't do that. But I didn't catch you the first time I watched it, probably because I didn't know you back then when the video came out. So I'll definitely pay closer attention now and see
Yeah.
if I can find you.
The other thing, very professional. Actually, all three of those bands are very professional. I have a lot of time for excuse, and David from Belhaven is always great to catch up with. It's just we hardly catch up because he's busy, I'm busy, but that's life in
Yeah,
general.
yeah, he's a beautiful person. He's actually my vocal coach. I don't know, like that's common knowledge, but
Everyone's
yeah, he's
seeming to be his, which isn't a bad thing. And David, if you're watching this, please don't take this as I'm having a go at you. It's not. It just seems like everyone in Melbourne David from Belhaven is their band coach, which I just turned my mic off. Whoops. If
Yeah,
any,
he's great. Oh, sorry, go on. Didn't
oh
mean to
no,
cut
you
you off.
go, you go.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, my vocals have. I've been taking lessons. It hasn't been consistent, it's been on and off, but I've been taking vocal lessons from him for probably like 2 years, I reckon. And I cannot tell you how much my vocals have improved since doing these lessons
Mm,
with David. I think he's an impeccable vocal coach, and he's able to somehow tailor his lessons to exactly what is suitable for each student. And that's what I think is amazing about him. He takes the time to actually get to know, he gets to know what kind of music that you're trying to do, what kind of voice you're trying to achieve, and
yeah.
he will tailor each lesson to that. So yeah, definitely I've got a lot to owe. I've got a lot I owe him. Yeah, just in terms of my vocal ability.
No, he's incredible. My a friend of mine who used to be in a band, that is called Atriox, no longer in the band, but his vocal coach was David from Belhaven, and yeah, he just said the exact same thing, pretty much what Astina said, that yeah, great coach, and the vocals have been worked on so well that he's improved, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, that's right.
And Belhaven are a pretty fucking good band as well, pardon my language.
Yeah. Yeah, and guess where I found them from? Discover Weekly.
Ah,
So,
oh no, I would have discovered them because me mate's band coach was David. That's pretty much how I
oh yeah,
discovered Belhaven.
yeah. Oh, speaking of new music, I don't know if you've heard Spiritbox's new single. I'm digging it. It's really, really good.
I did hear it the other day and I've completely forgot the title of the song.
Well, I think definitely give that another go. I've got it saved because I love it so much. It's going to be the first song on my list. It is. I think it didn't come out long ago either. Perfect Soul.
I
That's
knew
what.
it had soul in there somewhere. Like, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that dropped the same day as Architect's new song as well, Whiplash, and I was like, because I like to listen to two new songs at least in a day, and that day I think I listened to like five, and then I just went to Spirit Box and Architects. I'm like, everyone else can wait till the weekend. So,
Yeah. Architects, I don't listen to them as much now, but I used to listen to them a lot, especially their Daybreaker album
oh yep,
and Daybreaker and what's the other, Lost Together, Lost Forever. Those two are my favorite albums by Architects. They are just, even now they are albums that I can listen to back on repeat
mm,
and not get sick of any of the songs. Spirit Box, I didn't actually start listening to them till Eternal Blue came out, which I know I'm pretty late into the game, but never looked back. Yeah, they're so great, so unique, so original. You listen to a song, you can tell straight away it's Spirit Box.
I think the first time I heard Spirit Box, and funnily enough, it does feature an Architects person, is actually Yellow Jacket, featuring Sam
Yeah,
Carter from
right, from
Architects.
Eternal Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's from the Eternal Blue album. So
such a good album. I still think Secret Garden's probably my favourite song. I know that's going to cause a bit of debate because there's so many good songs on
uh,
Eternal Blue, but
I think that anyone can name any song from there and say that it's their favorite song, and I can agree with them. Like, there's no bad song on that album. There's no song on that album that I'm like, oh yeah, skip.
yeah,
They're all equally as good. Uh, Probably one of my favorites is Holy Roller. Yeah, just great riff. Um, Great riff. Sorry, great riff, and the lyrics. They'll leave you thinking about them a lot. So I even to this day I'm trying to, guess what that song is about in
yep.
terms of the lyrics. I've got some speculations, but the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, oh, it could be about this. So again, I'm not going to get into that because that. I love lyrics so much because I'm a songwriter, so I analyze lyrics a lot, and I can just talk for hours about the meaning of a song just based on off the lyrics alone.
Yep. Oh, well, I love those sorts of songs though. They're good. The ones that you keep guessing what the lyrics might be, make the song about. Those are the best songs.
Yeah, and I feel like Spiritbox has a knack for doing that because their lyrics are quite ambiguous. They're never just, you know, um, straight up sort of, he said, she said kind of lyrics. They're always poetic, metaphorical, and that's what I love about their songs.
Yeah. And I saw them,
Yeah.
well, they played the very first Knotfest for those that were wondering. The Knotfest 2023. I've got to get my years right. Yeah, 2023 last year. They played with obviously Slipknot, Parkway, Ginger. Was Ginger there? Or am I thinking of another festival? I don't know, but it was Knock Loose,
You might be
Parkway.
thinking of good thing.
I'm thinking probably 2022 Good Things, probably.
Things.
It-
Yeah, Ginger was on that lineup.
yeah, okay, sorry. Knocked Loose, Spirit Box, Megadeth, Parkway, Slipknot, etc. was not Fest 2023. Get it right, Sam. But no, Spirit Box easily becoming one of my favourite bands, and that song that Courtney does on "Make Them Suffer" Contraband, I think it's called, by "Make Them
Hmm.
Suffer." That's a killer collaboration.
Yeah, I love all of Courtney's collaborations, to be honest. I just think she's an amazing vocalist. She's another vocalist that I look up to. So apart from Monica from the last Motto, definitely Courtney.
Well, I think you got some pretty good people to look up to there, Astina. Courtney from
Yeah.
Spirit Box and Mon are very good female
Yeah,
vocalists. I mean,
that's
yeah,
right.
my favourite, well, actually, do I say my favourite songs? This might be a spoiler for the countdown. Actually, I'm going to say my favourite EPs or albums so I don't give away what number one is. Uh, I just can't go past Last Martyr Requiem. That's an amazing EP album from start to finish. The song that, of course, Estina mentioned, I love The Nihilist because I didn't even know about Rivelin before The Nihilist came out. I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
where's this person been? But
Yeah. I also feel like, oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
sorry, and also Burn It Down. I love the track they do with Daniel from Alt as well. All great
Hmm.
songs.
Yeah. Probably Burn It Down is probably my second favorite after The Nihilist.
Oh, I think I think we've got along very well if we're talking about Last Mother and Spirit Box. That's
Yeah.
uh
Honest opinion, what's your thoughts on Sleep Token?
oh
It's
uh,
controversial, this one.
well, actually, I don't feel like I'm going to get into trouble because I swore on this anyway. But, actually, I probably should mention that at the start, Steve. I don't doesn't actually bother me about swearing on YouTube. But anyway, that's another point. Sleep Token. Back to the point. I actually don't mind them as a band, and I actually dug their last album.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad you said that because they are also one of my favorite bands at the moment. So yeah. They caught a lot of flack though. I know so many people who aren't into them, or they'll say, oh, they're not that overrated, they're not even that good. I'm like, oh, I don't think you've heard every single song by Sleep Token then, because I guarantee you, if you listen to every single one of their songs, you're gonna find a song by them that you like.
Yeah.
They are so diverse, one of the most diverse bands I've ever listened to. And in every album, basically every genre is on there. So I've spoken to my friends who don't even listen to heavy music, and they like Sleep Token.
So I'm thinking maybe Sleep Token is sort of the this decade's System of a Down because I'm thinking a lot of people who don't like metal loved System of a Down. Maybe people who don't like metal now like Sleep Token. Maybe.
That's right. I've actually got a friend who I think he's recently just getting into heavy music, and one of the first songs that he's linked my partner and I was "Take Me Back to Eden" by Sleep Token, and he's just like, "Oh, this goes so hard." And it's funny because that's a song I actually showed him ages ago, like probably months back, And he had just actually forgot that he had listened to the song because he then linked us the song and was just like, "Have you guys heard this? This goes so hard." And it's just we found that hilarious because that's actually one of our favorite songs that's saved in all our playlists, you know. So I'm glad that he can actually get into it, even though he doesn't listen to heavy music.
Well, and also, like, again, controversy, probably what I'm about to say, and this is no dig against this band, but I feel like Sleep Token are sort of on the same level as the controversy around Bring Me the Horizon, their new stuff,
Mm,
because you can see people love the old school Bring Me the Horizon, but a lot of people haven't liked anything since That's the Spirit. And
yeah,
you either love their new stuff or you don't. It's not in
yeah,
between.
yeah. I feel like that's the way with Sleep Token. You either like them or you don't. Most people that I've spoken to, they don't have an indifferent opinion. They're just, I like them or I don't.
Yep.
So, yeah, and some people even claim, you know, Sleep Token isn't a heavy band. So, I don't know, that's obviously their opinion, but if they'd listened, like I said again, to every single song by Sleep Token, they'd know that they do have some heavy songs in there. So,
Yeah. So yeah, Last Martyr, best album. Oh, Aussie. Even Aussie would be difficult right at the moment because, like, Make Them Suffer, Void, Red Hook have all put out killer albums, and I'd, I don't want to sound biased, but I think it would have to probably be Mutation by Red Hook as the best Aussie release this year. I'm going to get shot down in flames after this is posted. uh, best international release, that gets hard. I think it's probably While She Sleeps, their album. I'm really digging that album at the moment.
okay, well, I haven't listened to it, so I might actually, as soon as the interview is over, I'm probably gonna go listen to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so my lesson is to listen to some Discover Weekly bands. Astina's going to go listen to While She Sleeps.
That's right. Yeah. No, this is great. Chatting with you, I probably found some other bands that I'd probably be interested to listen to, so I'm probably gonna go do that.
I'm really enjoying this chat considering everything. I mean, it's your audio on my end is perfect, like, and I can see you fine. Like, there was a couple of moments where it blurred, but I could still hear you talking. So, but it wasn't for long. It was like for 5 seconds, if that. So no one's gonna even probably
Mm,
notice it.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think we've
also
got some good connections going on.
Also, just let people know this is my first episode, so if there are a few glitches, Sam stuffing his words up or something, please don't ridicule me.
I don't think anyone would. They'd understand this is an online interview, you know, internet plays up. It's normal.
But yeah, I've loved every minute of it, and I've only really got one more question, Astina. That's it. So we've got through a lot in this hour.
Yeah, it actually didn't even feel like that long. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like this felt more like a conversation than it did an interview, which I really enjoyed. So that was good.
the other thing I just want to touch base on, and everyone says to me, you know, why do you say this? Why do you say you'd rather interview someone you don't know than someone you do know? But this is exactly what Astina just mentioned there. This feels like more of a conversation with someone than an interview.
Yeah, and that's what makes it authentic, and you know, just it keeps it flowing. It's a nice flow. There's no awkwardness, and I very much prefer doing this than you know really rehearsed sort of interviews.
And I think and this is for anyone out there, and my thing is with interviews and talking is I do take myself serious from time to time. You might not think it when you watch this back in a couple of days' time, but my theory is I want the guest to be comfortable and don't want to feel like they're being intimidated or that I'm gonna, you know, ask them all these questions and like you've only got 5 seconds to answer. That's not what my interviews are about. I try to make the guest as comfortable as possible, and I want to have a fun time. And this has certainly felt like about 58 seconds and not 58 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, I think that if that's your intention, then you're doing a perfect job at it because that's exactly how I felt. So I went into this interview feeling a bit nervous because obviously I hadn't prepared for it. And the moment, we were 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, this is chill. Yeah.
The other thing that scares me a bit, Astina, is that the next minute's like 50 minutes in, you're like, where did that 45 minutes go?
Oh, well, that's what happens when it's just, I'm having a drink and everything. I just feel like I'm out, with a friend having a conversation, like that. And that's what happens when you're not really thinking about it. You're just going with the conversation. Time just goes that quick.
Yes, sometimes too quick for my liking.
Yeah.
So the last question I have is, which band would this point forward like to be the support act for? Either here in
Oh
Australia
my
or
goodness.
overseas?
Okay. I don't speak for the rest of the band when I say this. This is purely me. But unfortunately, they're not here to give their 2 cents. So I'm just gonna say who I'd like to support. Definitely Spiritbox. I'm sorry. Like, there's so many bands that I'd be honored to support. But if I got to support Spiritbox, if my band got to support Spiritbox, I think that is, probably dream accomplished.
Yeah,
That is all I want to do. So hopefully one day.
that that's a pretty good band to support, and I mean they are here a lot. The Spirit Box, maybe not as much as like Electric Callboy or someone, but they're here pretty
Yeah.
often.
So crossing my fingers.
I'd like this is my three band lineup with this point forward. I reckon it would be Spirit Box, this point forward, Last Martyr.
Oh my goodness, that is the dream. That is, if I can support The Last Master and Spiritbox in one show, I think I'll die happy, to be honest.
Well, Last Martyr wouldn't be hard to get because, well, Ben and Vin seem to be at as I said, this isn't a dig at them. They seem to be at a lot of live music. So, well,
Yeah.
and Ricky and Mon. I've seen Ricky and Mon at quite a few as well. So,
Yeah, definitely. They were all at Hallo Scene. I'm pretty sure Monica was there too.
yeah, actually, she was. Sorry, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
forgotten. Yeah, because I'm the only person out of the Last Martyr I didn't actually chat to. But again, when did I last
Yeah.
some? I saw Monica at There was a show that it was Broken Earth, Ultraviolet, and a couple of other bands at the Bergie, and Mon was there. I think because Ultraviolet and Last Martyr are pretty close friends, and I was looking
Right,
over
I
and
didn't know that.
Ricky and that are there, and I'm like, is that Mon? And I had to second look, and then someone I saw go up to her that I knew. I'm like, oh, it's got to be Mon from Last Mother, and it was.
Yeah, they're also genuine. Oh my gosh, every single person from The Last Martyr, they are so supportive, so genuine, and I just think that that's it. For a band that has reached sort of that level of success, for them to still be attending and watching other bands, especially smaller bands that, probably don't have the same amount of success, and they're there supporting them, I think that, that's it's such a humbling thing to see.
It is.
Yeah.
So
Just
yeah,
goes to show it keeps me grounded. It reminds me that it doesn't matter how successful the band gets. You have to remember where you started from. And when other bands, smaller bands especially, see someone from a more successful band in the crowd supporting them, that speaks volumes. It means so much.
it does. And someone as highly respected as well, like the Last Martyr. Like, even if even if they didn't even come over and say hello to you, which Last Martyr always do, but if they're watching your set, I mean that's pretty special.
It is, yeah. Just knowing that Ben and Ricky and just yeah, I don't know if Monica had arrived by then, but just knowing that they were in the crowd as my band was playing,
Yeah.
it meant the world to me. Definitely.
Well, also for those that don't know or didn't see the footage of Hallo Scene, Ben and Vin were also playing in the suburbs, so they were there already. But
Yeah, that was fantastic show. That was my first time watching The Suburbs, and it didn't disappoint.
Nah, I hadn't seen him in like 3 years until that very gig, and it's like, this actually works, but we're like, what do we call them? The last suburbs, or?
Yeah, I think we were debating that probably for like 2 hours.
I think we came to the conclusion it was the last suburbs. I think we were trying to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that fits.
Yeah, I can't think what else you could call it. The
I
last.
think it
Yeah,
rolls off the tongue. So I think let's just stick with that.
yeah. But for those that don't know, actually, of course, the suburbs features someone like David from Belhaven, very well known in the local scene, Steve Canatelli, who's the band coach for future artist development, does a whole heap of stuff, which is awesome to see. Great bloke too.
Yeah, he is lovely. I actually knew about him because he posted something about one of his bands that he was coaching. They needed a vocalist, and
Oh
I actually
yeah,
tried out for that. Yeah, I actually tried out for that band. Didn't make the cut, but that's all right. I get it
yep,
because I feel like vocals is a thing that it takes time to develop, and I probably wasn't as developed back then.
yep.
So yeah, that's how I actually met Steve. And he's been supportive and just sort of a part-time mentor to me, I guess. Because when I released the music with my old band, I used to link it to him,
Oh
and he
yeah,
would give me constructive criticism. And he was actually one of the first people that complimented my vocals. Because when I sent him the demo of me trying out for that band, he actually said that, oh, you've got nice vocals. Like, he encouraged me to actually go out there and not give up.
yep.
So just because I didn't make the cut with that first band I tried out for doesn't mean that I should stop trying for other bands. And this is how this point forward happened.
Yep. But
So
yeah. When did I meet? Oh yeah, again, bare friend of a friend was coached by Steve. Well, who hasn't been coached by Steve? There's not many bands out there.
yeah, not many known bands anyway. Yeah.
No, I mean every band that I can think of, he's either coached or had some part in their success. I mean, speaking like, I mean, Excuse for an Exit, we mentioned a Gippsland band. He coached them. Of course,
Mhm.
Atlas, another Gippsland band. He's coached a whole heap of. I think he coached Void of Vision as well, and a whole
Yeah,
heap of them.
yeah, and I think on obviously he does a good job. He knows what he's doing because those bands where they are now is a testament to
Mm.
how well he does what he does.
But also their professionalism. Not that I know Void of Vision all that well, but everything I've heard about them, they go about it the right way. And it's said that they're finishing up next year, but I guess
Yeah.
onwards and upwards, as they say.
Yeah, and who knows? Like you never know if they might get back together or if the members might start a different project because that happens.
Mm,
So it's the end of one thing, but it could be the start of something else. So just have to wait and see, I guess.
it certainly will be. And yeah, I'm really hoping I can get to that last show at the Northgate Social Club. Hoping. Haven't got a roster that far in advance yet, obviously.
Yeah, but knowing you, you'd probably do everything in your power to try and be there. You are known as the person that goes to the most gigs in Melbourne, so I guess
Despite
you'll
not
probably make
living
it
in
as well.
Melbourne as well. I think that's what
Yeah, that's
shocks.
insane. Yeah, that's dedication. That's dedication right there.
And it's a Thursday night, and I'm like, I don't actually think I haven't worked a Thursday night in ages, so there could actually be a very good chance I could very well be there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it for a second.
And like, I love Void, and I love getting to bands' last shows. I think it's very important.
Yeah, it's probably special to, just that's their farewell and just to be a part of it. That's special.
Yeah, definitely. And also important to get to first shows of the band as well.
That's right. Yep. So honored that you were there for ours. So thank you so much.
Yes. No, I was glad I was at Hallo Scene. Just a shame, but it's no one's fault. You catch up with people, And then other times, for whatever reason, the crowd's too big, or I'm off gas
That's
bagging
right.
to someone else for too long. And
It's okay. Well, I have a chance to talk to you now, so it's all good.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And I'm sure we'll catch up at a gig sometime in the future, Astina. Hopefully, at this
Yeah,
point forward gig.
yeah, I mean, if you go to as many as you're currently going to, I'm 100% certain I'll bump into you.
Yeah. I do think I'm taking a few weeks break off, but then I realised that there could be something that's announced soon happening in early January that I'm not gonna
Oh, okay.
say, but I have heard. And I'm like, oh, that's in between the 4 weeks I was gonna take off. I'm like, oh no.
Guess you're just gonna have to cut your break short.
Yeah, I'm just like, can you put it back like 2 weeks? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, hard choices to make.
Yeah, but I will not mention the band or when it is because that would be me getting into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I don't want you to get in trouble, so definitely keep it on the down low.
Well, I won't be keeping this interview on the download because I have had an amazing time, Astina. I reckon I might even have it up before Wednesday, but I'm just going to give myself a few days in case work's crazy or something comes up. But
Yeah,
it's definitely
yeah.
going to be up midweek, so.
All right, I'm keen to catch it.
Yeah, and also, actually, before I go, I'm going to put a Spotify playlist once this episode is uploaded of this point forward's music and some local bands, and then put it on my newsfeed so people can check out this point forward and some of the up and coming local bands.
Thank you. That's much appreciated.
Because I think it's important to share local bands as much as possible, I believe.
That's right. That's what I do. The moment a local band comes up with a song that I like, my partner's here actually. I'm always like, hey, check out this song straight away. Sorry, she's a bit shy, so.
Oh, no, no, that's all right. More happening in your background than mine. Mine's just a plain old white door behind me.
I'm doing this interview in the kitchen, so yeah.
Where am I? Oh, in my living room. But I'm probably facing the wrong way. I probably should be facing the outside, but either way.
Yeah. Well, I'm facing the door, so it's not like I'm in the best place for an interview either. But if it works, it works.
Hey, and it's worked for the hour and 11 minutes. There's been no issues with it, so it's worked. So.
Yeah. Yeah. The connection actually surprised me. I'm thinking that I might start doing my gaming in the kitchen too.
Yeah, as I said, there's only been literally 2 second blocks, but it hasn't been cutting out. It's just been, I've been hearing you, but the face has sort of gone a bit blurry. But yeah, it's no point saying, oh, it's all blurred out, you won't hear anything. It's,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
well,
you've been crisp and clear for me. No issues with you whatsoever.
no. Oh, well, this is positive, and I was actually a bit nervous about the first interview. I don't even know why, because I was like worried, not so much interviewing a member of a band or the band, more that what could go wrong on the first interview.
Right. Yeah. Well, you should be very glad that the interview happened the way it did because there were no issues. I had a great time. The connection has been great. It's great topics too. I love the questions. I love the subject that we were talking about. So I feel like it was a very authentic interview, which I really appreciate. So
Well, this is the only part of interviews I don't like, Estina, is when we call it a day because again, I've loved every moment of this, and it's sort of like, why do these interviews have to end eventually? Why could we just sit here for 2 hours?
yeah, and then you'll have too much to edit, and people probably, attention spans. They probably can't sit and watch an interview for 2 hours. So yeah,
Nah, and what's this been? About an hour and 10, 11, 12. I shouldn't have to edit much of it because there's been exciting stuff, and might see if I can
yeah,
time code it in some way. I'm gonna have to learn how to do that some way, but yeah. I'll just because yeah, I don't want to edit too much out because if it's exciting stuff, which this has been, then you don't want to take it all out.
Yeah, that's right. I think the hardest part is to decide what you want to cut out. You know, when you've enjoyed everything, it's just like, oh, well, can I just leave everything in? Basically.
uh, all right. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've got to go to work in about 45 minutes. So,
Oh my gosh, yeah, you probably should get ready then. Thank you. It's been a pleasure doing this interview with you. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, so
well,
thank you very much.
likewise, Astina, I've enjoyed every minute of it. And yep, once I have this recording seems to get progressed and uploaded very quickly to my file. So, this will probably be done in half an hour, and then I'll just go back and watch it and then yeah, upload it midweek with some this point forward in a Spotify playlist.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I cannot wait to see it.
Uh, and feel free to share it when it comes through as well. And
Yeah, I will.
honestly, I'll have you on next week. If
Oh. Thank you, but then I don't know what we talk about. We talked about so much already.
yeah,
You know,
I'm
I would
thinking
love
if
to bump into you though. I'd love to bump into you at a show. That would be great.
yeah, well, I would love to bump into yourself, Estate, and everyone in this point forward. I'm sure it will happen sometime very soon.
Yeah, same. I've got no doubt about it, and I'm keen for you to talk to the rest of the bands who actually have a conversation with them. They're some pretty cool dudes.
Yeah, well, when I did the test with Tom yesterday, it was he's an interesting character, Tom, but he's a good bloke as well. Like he had
Yeah.
all the stuff he was talking about, I found very interesting actually, and I wish it wasn't a test interview because some of the stuff would have
Mhm.
been quality on YouTube. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get a chance to at some point. And you know, just if you see us and there's no pressure. Like
no,
if you're busy and you know, obviously, like you said, you don't have time to get around to anyone, but we'd always be happy to have you
yeah.
if you know you see us. You know, so
Well,
definitely come say hi.
I won't be approaching. I'm not gonna even think about it. I'm just gonna see you guys and say, "Yep, I'm going up to him," because that's
Yeah.
my theory now. Is do not hesitate in approaching any band because that's they'll say hello. I mean, no one will be rude. I've never come across as anyone being rude, so
Yeah, I mean, and if they're busy and there's somewhere they need to be, what's the worst that could happen? They'll say hello and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I need to go."
yeah,
You know, yeah, there's really nothing to it. Just,
no,
I'm sure that no one is gonna have an issue with you going up and saying hi. So
no. But I'll definitely do it with this point forward sometime soon.
yeah, yeah, we're all really chill, so we'd love to chat with you. So
Yep.
don't even think about it twice. Just do it.
Oh, all right. Well, sad to have this finished, but it's been an absolute pleasure, Astina. From this point forward, as I said, please check out this point forward after you hear this interview, or do it before. Actually, is probably a better alternative. And I'll definitely have anyone from this point forward back on the YouTube channel at any stage in the future.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate like it's such an honor to be the first band that you do an interview with. So thank you.
No worries at all. And it's been an absolute pleasure, Astina. And stay cool if you can. It's very hot out there still.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm hoping it changes next week.
yeah, I think there's meant to be rain tomorrow. I think I'm not a weather bureau meteorologist, but I have seen rain forecasted.
Yeah, it's Melbourne though, so the forecast is, kind of iffy. But yeah, just have to take it as it comes.
Yep. All right, Astina. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll chat again soon.
Yep, I would love to. All right, you take it easy.
Same to you.
Okay, see you.
See you.